So hi guys, in this video we are going to look upon how actually Velocity works for front view rendering. If you are new to Velocity or if you are new for AI rendering, then you need to look upon to this video. So first of all, what we are going to do is, as you can see that this is velocity.agentsofinc.com, which typically knows about Velocity AOI. So this do provide architectural intelligence based renderings in the system itself and using images itself. So to test out this tool of the front image, what we have to do is we do require a model. Now for model, I specifically use SketchUp model 3D house. Like basically this is how 3D warehouse works. So once you enter into 3D warehouse, you can search for content, and I do like one of the content which is basically JCloud work. So once you search for JCloud work, you can see multiple residential buildings like this. So you can click on find more like this and you will be able to see multiple images or models similar to how this model is basically done. So if you are looking for specific balcony, railing, slope or anything, then you can click on find more like this and you can search for that. So this is how SketchUp 3D warehouse works. So typically I am going to use one of the SketchUp warehouse model which is being done by JCloud work, which is this model. So this model is here. Either you can take a screenshot through SketchUp itself. For this video, I am going to take the screenshot directly from 3D warehouse. So this is how image is looking like, and you can click on 3D preview. Once you click on 3D preview, I will just get it into full screen, and as you can see, this is how my model is looking like. And if I can see that I do have a proper road, the footpath, plant bed, basically the bed where we can actually provide the plantation. The material is already being done in the SketchUp model itself. The proper CNC and the glass. The glass should be having a proper opacity. The glass opacity itself determines how AI is going to render the glass. If glass opacity is in blue shade, then it will be providing the glass but will be in blue shade. So I typically prefer the glass should be in this range, like a bit tint of blue, but should be having the proper opacity. We do have the plantation a bit in my first floor and in my ground floor. The door, the gate and other stuff is properly placed. Make sure 3 to 4 items before rendering. The first thing is the material should be having in the SketchUp file itself. So I have placed my materials in my SketchUp file so that while I take the screenshot, it do provides me proper materials in image itself, like in my source image. Second, the glass opacity should be properly placed. In my image, if you can see the balcony and in my roof, I do have my proper glass opacity. The third element which I am going to force upon is basically the road and footpath should be having properly placed. Otherwise, it can't understand where it actually needs to be placed. So AI understands using 3 elements: the foreground element, the object and the background. So basically my foreground element is the road, footpath and slope. The object is my building and the background is going to be having landscape and sky. For sky, I have used a basic blue tint, and for landscape, I am using the green color tint. So this green color itself determines that this is going to be landscape, and the blue color itself determines that it is going to be sky. The landscape is something which Velocity itself do provides using intelligence, but for the object, you need everything to be properly placed. So as of now, this image is properly perfect for me, and I will take a complete screenshot. If I'm going to take a screenshot of this, it will look something like this, right? And if I go on, now you can see I do have this image in here. I will just save this image in my downloads. I'll just save it here. And now I just have to go for Velocity. Already Velocity is opened in my system. If you are new to Velocity, you can click on velocity.agentsofinc.com. Once you enter into Velocity, you will see the beautiful home page, and this is how the rendering is being done. If you can see my mouse, the previous image and the rendered image. Now I will go to dashboard. For the new beginner or the newcomer of the Velocity system, you will understand Once you enter into dashboard, you will be entering into my generation. Like my generation is typically where you will land. So my generation is typically the place where you are able to see all the image, videos and other stuff which you have generated using Velocity. I will enter into explore cities because right now I do have to generate my image. I have already taken the screenshot of my model. Now because of my images of front elevation, I will click on front view or I will click on launch. Now you will be able to see the reference image, how the image should look like. So you can see the image is properly here, right? Our image already do have a proper material, glass and other stuff similar to how reference image is. I will just click on source image and upload my image which we took the screenshot just before. And we will click on generate the render. So it will take almost 30 to 35 seconds to render your old image. Now the image rendering will do have proper landscape, PBR quality, glass opacity and transparency, the sky and other stuff which needs to be properly rendered as per Lumion, Enscape or Myriad 2. So we will wait for a while. Once it is going to get done, then we will compare the generated image with the input image. So as now you can see, this is my input generated image. I will just download my generated image, right? And we will compare both input image and the generated image. So now you can see the generated image do have proper plantation which we were having in input image. The gate, if you can see, it is not properly visible, it is not properly transparent to the background because the screenshot is taken through SketchUp model. But if you see in our AI generated image, we do have proper transparency, actually what is in background of the gate. That is how the gate should be. Now we do have proper marking and the proper PBR material along with the CNC. AI do took this specific area similar to like how it should look like, but the landscape, if you can go through with, the road do have the cracks, bit level of precipitation, a bit level of dry leaves, and the land do have proper landscape. So if I can compare the whole image, I will be able to see the glass do have proper visibility, how the glass should look like. Base level of indirect light is already placed so that render do have bit level of glow, and the terrace based glass do already have the opacity and transparency, basically how it needs to be done. So this is how the rendering is done for my front view. Now the question is, this is not 4K, how I can generate this image using 4K? Again, to generate this image in the 4K, we will go to Velocity. In Velocity, if you can go to my generation, you will be able to see the generated images at here. But for my 4K image generation, I will again go to explore cities. I will repeat again, for each generation, and if the template based generation you are looking for or the data trained model based generation you are looking for, then you need to go ahead with explore cities. In explore cities, you will be able to see the 4K image upscaling. I will click on 4K image upscaling. I will upload my rendered image which we just took the render. Now you need to mention the aspect ratio, what should be the output of. If you are not mentioning the aspect ratio, then the default aspect ratio will be 7:5. But as of now, this image is of 16:9. So I will make sure that I am having the input of 16:9 as my aspect ratio for my 4K image generation. Once I have done my provided aspect ratio, I will click on generate 4K image upscaling, and again 15 to 30 seconds we do have to take a while so that the image do have proper pixel based generation. It will be in 4K. So the generation which took earlier, the rendered image, it was at 1K to 2K based quality, but get it in HD, we will use 4K image city. Moving ahead, what is the difference between the both of the stuff? The thinking element in the generation was much more for the intelligence based, but in 4K there is no thinking element. The complete element is into the generations. So how the tokenization and the data model and the RAG model is properly trained and chained in the system. So it is not typically limited for any of the architecture based field. If you are coming from marketing background, or if you are coming from designer background, or if you are anybody who do require an image in 4K, then this is how 4K image quality is going to work. So we will just download this image and again we will compare that how my image is looking like. Now, as you can see, the previous image which we actually generated was of almost 1 MB, like 902 KB, but my generated 4K image is of 10 MB. So we will just make sure to compare both of the images. I will just open both of the images just side to side. Now, as you can see, this is my 4K image quality and this is my basic rendered image quality, right? If you can see the plantation, so you will be able to see the difference, the reflection and other stuff. So basically each and every item, whatever was there in the input image, basically the rendered image is the input image for the 4K based thing. So that all images do provide in 4K detailed quality. This is the HD quality which you can actually make sure to get it delivered for the client. And because of I have given 16:9 as my aspect ratio, it do generated in 16:9. If you want to change it on 1:1 or 7:5 or 3:4 or any of the stuff, then you can go ahead with it. You can mention the aspect ratio. So this is how the front view rendering do works. This is how the 4K image rendering do works. Both of the stuff is generation, but make sure in your SketchUp model you do have proper plantation in the building wherever do you require. The second, the road is properly placed. If you do require footpath, then you can make sure the footpath is there. The landscape area is bit level of green tinted and the sky is in blue tinted. Then you can take a proper camera perspective in human angle, the front view image, and you can upload it into the system so that it can generate a proper front view render of your building. So stay tuned, make sure to subscribe and follow to make beautiful the architecture and the rendering quality, whatever you are already going ahead with.